Live. Thank you for joining. So today, yes, we're going to be looking at why men cheat, why women cheat. Thank you, Bingpe, Bells Naturals, Mosumola, Blonde, Lydia. Can you just type in where your Flakes World, hello, and Katawa, can you just type where you're logging in from? Which city? Maybe Lagos, London. As you say hello, as you log in, the Olajumoke, Lagos, Profit with Doyin, Papi. Let me know where you are signing up from. Let me know where you're signing up from. Let me know which city, which place you are. Are you from Lagos? Good. Oregon, Mosuma. Lagos, Nigeria. Of course, Lagos is Nigeria. Yola, Laomi, Loya, Yola in Nigeria. That's up north. Thank you for joining. Dublin. Someone's from Dublin. Olukemi. Thank you. Global Consult, SG, Temi, Ife, Aderonke. Someone is from Lagos, Adeni Jones, Ikorodu, to be precise. All right. Thank you so much. We'll start in a minute. Let's give time for a few people. Temi, I appreciate you from Calgary. Bizion, Busola from London. I can see your flag. Houston, Abuja. Omalade, Rhode Island. That's Olabi. Atlanta here. Thank you. I can see you all. Toronto, Canada. Winnipeg. RS Photography. Abigail, good evening to you. Yasmin from London. Olagbosh from Chicago. Lagos. Abba, Nigeria. Tolu from Colorado. Wow, you can see now we are all global thanks to the internet. But honestly, today we're going to be discussing something that is, that is a bit serious. It's not, it's something that that burdens me a lot, these days. Let me just adjust this a little bit. Okay, I hope you can all see me very well. If you have any issues with the vision or with the voice, just text and then I'll try and make an adjustment from here. All right. So we're looking at why men cheat, why women cheat. Why cheating? I mean, marriages these days have become, I don't know, something else. I see all kinds of breakups, divorce, all kinds of tension. Among me, I can see you of Decor. Welcome. Oh, Baltimore, Maryland. Yes, you can see me. Thank you. And you can hear me. Very good. Let me get that piece of paper. Excuse me. That piece of paper in my bag. Exactly. Sorry. Just pardon me, this is my very first Instagram live. Yes, I've been in videos before now, but this is my first, Instagram live. And so I'm trusting, God for healing. I'm trusting God that as we discuss, we will not only be informed, but if there's anybody going through deep issues like this, they will find answers. Thank you from Dubai watching. Oh my God, Dubai is 9 hours away from where I am right now. I'm in Atlanta, and that's 3 hours ahead of Lagos time. So thank you so much. What are the statistics? 50% of men that cheat do so because they are emotionally unfulfilled. And so let's establish this. Men cheat, women cheat. At first I wanted to put the caption as men. Monica, thank you from Houston. Abu Dhabi. I'm just calling this out. I know I would stop calling out names and locations now after a while when we get deep into it. But I just want all of you, Blessed Woman 171 from Maryland. I want everyone watching, because we're a community, for you to appreciate that your brothers, your sisters are logging in from various parts, of the world and various cities. So you can really understand that you're really part of something that is global. Now, I wanted to do why men cheat today, put out the caption, and then some other time why women cheat. But I felt people might be like, hey, women also cheat, So I put the caption, I said, why men and women cheat all together before someone shoots me down, And because I get feedback, someone told me, I've gotten feedback from about 2-3 people before I did this live, that look, women cheat more than men. Okay, I don't really have that proof, but that's what they say now, that women's cheating is at all-time high. So we cannot assume that the infidelity has only to do with men. So 15% of cheating men rated the women more, they were cheating with more beautiful than their wives. That may not be necessarily so, but they rated them more beautiful than their wives. Over 75% of men who cheat at home have a close friend who also cheated. So we're saying why men cheat. We're looking at these reasons. I've done some research, and then we'll of course go into discussions where you can contribute and where you can also ask questions. Thank you from Canaan Land, Ota, Akure. Oh, the network is bad in Akure. Oh, sorry about that. Wow, I can't get that even. Tara, I can see you, Tara. So has over 75% of men who cheated at home, who cheated on their wives, had a close friend who also cheated. So you can see that association, who you walk with. When you walk with the wise, you'll be wise. Having a friend who will say, hey, you can also do it. You can revenge. He cheated on you, you can also cheat. It depends on who you're talking to, who you're listening to. Neuroscience has revealed that power releases dopamine, which activates the reward system of the brain. So men and women with high power needs tend to have more sex than those with low power needs. Unfortunately, the same dopamine dampens the activity of the part of the brain that controls judgment. That part of the brain that controls judgment is also dampened. That's why many people, after they've done it, they're like, wow, I didn't mean to. What was I thinking? And then they do it again because they were not caught. They do it again because it seemed sweet. So this explains why people have lapses in judgment, when the issue of sex, kicks in. Same thing with people who rape minors or who rape anyone. You find them saying, oh, it was the devil, I don't know what made me do it, and things like that. Something just blurs their judgment. People who have cheated before are 350% more likely to cheat again. So they should take drastic steps to change, because once you've cheated before, it seems easier for that person to do it again. So it's best to totally stay away from it. 35% of men and women admit to cheating while on business trips. We also have statistics that say that during conventions or meetings, there's one that during conventions in Europe, for example, Christian conventions, that a hotel or where they were staying, recorded an all-time high of pornography views on the TV screens in the hotel room. You can buy the videos, pay for the videos you want to watch, select the channels, and there are such statistics. Because, again, getting involved with porn and all that, if you're married, might be a form of cheating as well on your spouse. Because, yes, you're not doing it with someone, but again, your mind and your heart is totally away from your spouse. 9% of men admit they cheat for revenge on their spouse. You see, we're looking at why men cheat, and we'll also look at why women cheat. But 14% for men. 14% of women admit that they cheat for revenge. So you can see it looks like the revenge is more in the women. I've always thought that, well, women who cheat probably are doing it because they were cheated on. That had always been my mindset. But that may not be the only reason, that they do it. 10% of affairs begin online. Because there's secrecy online, emails, text messages with technology now. And your affair from Dubai, wow. Sorry if I didn't mention your name because I wasn't, looking directly at the screen. I'm looking at my notes. 10% of affairs begin online, begin. They may not end online. They may begin online and they end physical. They end physical in a location, in someone's arms, in someone's bed. Hello. Affairs are most likely to happen at the point of, it says, 2 years of marriage. Women are most likely to cheat before the age of 30, but the ratio reverses after that and widens as they grow older. Well, these are stats, but we also need to look at, the reality. Why men and women cheat. Now, dysfunctional upbringing is one of the reasons why people cheat, whether a man or woman. When the upbringing is dysfunctional, that's it's no fault of theirs. Many were conditioned from childhood to cheat because maybe their dad cheated, or they saw their dad, cheat on their mom, so their mom cheat on their dad. In some ways, many times parents don't think children are watching. When a man drives up somewhere and tells his son, sit in the car, and all of that, he goes and, he comes back up. The man may think the child doesn't know what was going on behind closed doors. Oh, sit in the car, I want to pick something from my friend or pick something from a business partner, and it's a hotel or it's a lady's house or room, You think that child doesn't know, and then it happens again, but children can smell such things, and in their heart they vow, I will not live this kind of life. But what happens? They grow up, and when there's opportunity, when their spouse annoys them or whatever, then that kicks in like a default mode. So dysfunction upbringing. So children, many were conditioned through abuse and were not healed. Ignorance of love languages. People are most vulnerable to the person that speaks their love language. That's important. Unresolved spousal bitterness. It's important that we try to resolve. Now, if your partner cheats and come out and open about it, is it okay to go on with the relationship or end it? Okay, if your partner cheats and comes out in the open about it, that is, he tells you, confesses, asks for your forgiveness, I believe it's okay to go on with the relationship. I believe you both will need help. You both will need counseling. Of course, it goes beyond, okay, he told me himself, I didn't even catch him. He confessed, he opened up, asked for my forgiveness. So yeah, the relationship can go on. But I would say still go for counseling, both of you, so that it is prevented, so that you can get to the root of what caused it in the first place. Remember I said earlier on from statistics, those who cheat once are likely to do it again. It's easier to fall for it. So don't just think, oh, I've forgiven him, yeah, and then we go on just as usual. Hey, dig deep and be extra careful to find out why it happened and to prevent it from happening. Be open. So that's the starting point, but you can go, there's hope for such, a relationship, because this person was sorry about it and really wanted, help and wanted the relationship to go on. Now, unresolved spousal, yes. Bitterness. Many have bottled up emotions that have not been expressed. When people say, oh, don't let a third party come into your relationship, and that's true. Try and resolve things between yourself as much as possible. Don't keep running to your mom or your dad, or, okay, even to your mentor or to your pastor or whatever. But there are times when you need help. When you might need to get help as a woman or as a man individually, or sometimes together. So that is not bringing third party in. That is not reporting your spouse. That is not, would be much better. You're trying to get help. So it's so important to balance this. Don't bottle up emotions. Those who are introverts are likely to do this. They tell themselves, okay, I've resolved it, I've forgiven, and they keep quiet and keep quiet. Try and be expressive a little bit, at least towards your spouse, to mention the fact that, hey, you did this, I don't like it. And many times, when people bottle up things, it may not be that your spouse cheated on you. It may be for other things. It may be for other reasons. It may be for neglect. It may be for refusing to help you around the house. It may be for various things. But eventually, because of that bitterness that isn't expressed, it's easy to be vulnerable and fall into somebody else's arms, and then you'll be shocked at yourself. It says, what if your partner believes in the school of thought that you can cheat and still love your spouse? If your partner believes in that school of thought, wow, it's a pity you did not discover that before you married before you married him or her, because if you had known that they had that school of thought, I'm sure you wouldn't even have married them. But you discovered this after marriage. I'm telling you, you need serious help. For someone to believe that you can cheat while still loving someone, and it's just a normal thing, it's one of those things, you need to see a counselor. He would need, or she would need to see a counselor to be advised to have a different mindset completely, because that is not healthy at all. See, some spouses are not responsive to wives voicing their feelings. How do you handle that? If your spouse is not open to you voicing your feelings as a woman, you need help. You need to let him know that, you know what, I need to express myself. And I want to say to the women, or in that situation, that it's express yourself in love. Don't express yourself when you are angry, because the man will switch off. Same thing, a man too should not express himself and say, be calm. Don't express yourself when you're angry. Put your thoughts together and say, look, I need you to listen to me on this. And it could be when he's in a good mood. It could be when you're having lunch, dinner, or you're out, find a way to put in something that is truth. Someone said, I know that information has just passed, that, please, I want you to type it again. I'm so sorry because it had passed. Whoever said it, you said your spouse cheated on you and then blah, blah, blah. But I couldn't. So please, whoever you are, please, I want you to type it again because you had an experience. Please type it again and I will look at it and I'll read it out. Now, this one says, when a partner begins to, without reason or evidence, to cheat on you, what should the spouse do? Without evidence, what should the spouse do? Cheat on you, keep cheating on you without evidence of what you've done wrong, or what are you saying? You need to get help. You need to get help. We have counselors, we have coaches, we have trained psychotherapists, we have, go to who you're comfortable with. If you say, okay, I'm a Christian, so I'm going with a Christian, I'm a person of faith, I want someone who also is a person of faith, though also a psychologist or a coach, go to the person. If you feel comfortable going to your pastor, and you feel your pastor has, not all pastors are given to, counseling. It says, I'm currently hurting from my husband's recent infidelity. Why is it normal for a man to cheat, and when a woman does it, it becomes a crime? You see, that's what I'm saying. Why do men cheat and women cheat? Because women also cheat. But it seems like in our society, in our environment, especially in the African context, it seems to, it says, her husband cheated on her with her sister and she's still in the marriage. So that was the question. And you said someone's husband cheated with her sister and she's still in the marriage. Wow, that must be a very difficult marriage. Where is the sister right now? Is she still in the man's life? She's still in the marriage? He said, my husband cheated on me with my sister and I'm still in the marriage because of my children. How do I completely forgive him? Wow. Now, first and foremost, is he truly sorry? Is your sister truly sorry? Is your sister completely out of his life? Maybe she was living with you at that time. She's no longer living with you. There's no form of communication anymore. You will still need counseling, especially for yourself. Because the question is, how can I forgive him? Thank you. You will need counseling. Because you still want to stay in the marriage, which is a laudable thing. I will not force anybody to stay in that kind of marriage, and I will not at the same time say, hey, leave and get divorced. But you say you're staying because of your children. You've got to forgive, because first of all, forgiveness is for you. It's for you. It's not for the person. It's for you, so that you can be healed, so that you can move on. Jesus told his disciples when they asked, how many times must I forgive? And he said 70 times, 70 times, 7. He was trying to say, and they said in a day. So I don't think someone can offend you 470 times. Jesus was trying to say, forgiveness is a must, and you have the grace to do it, because it is someone who is alive that can forgive. Do you know that? You have the privilege of forgiving someone because you're alive. Because if you were dead, you wouldn't have that opportunity. So I think you should, tell yourself, hold on to the Holy Spirit, hold on to God, because he's the one that gives the grace. Hey, it might not be an overnight thing, but keep crying out to him and say, Lord, I need your strength. Some days you'll feel good, some days you'll feel you've lapsed into the unforgiveness again. But because you have confessed it and you have declared it, believe that it is so. And just keep thanking God. When you see him, sometimes you're annoyed. When you see him, sometimes you're happy, everything is fine. And some days you may just feel that anger just welling up for no reason. And then you react, and then he wonders what he has done. And he doesn't know that it's because of the infidelity of the past. So you can forgive by drawing grace from God, reading his scriptures. There's so many stories, of forgiveness. Even the Lord's Prayer says, forgive us, Lord, as we forgive others their trespasses. I know it's a huge one, but if you still want to remain in his life and in the marriage, you've got to forgive. Even if you're not remaining in the marriage, you've got to forgive as well. And I pray in Jesus' name that you would even receive that grace right now as we're discussing, that's the grace of God will come upon you. Just for the fact that you have expressed it, the burden will be made lighter. What you do for such people, your husband that cheated on you, and of course ask for your forgiveness, is that you ask God for compassion for him. Because many times I tell people, thank God you are not, wow, my spouse cheated on me and I got pregnant for another man, moved into his home and had the baby. Your spouse cheated on you and got pregnant. Wait, sorry. Were you now went to get pregnant for another man? I'm sorry, you have to send that question again. As a young bachelor's working class, I'm a provision pastor's child, redeemed, but I'm having problem in selecting a spouse. I have trust issues because I can't trust girls of nowadays. Okay, you have trust issues maybe because of how you've seen your parents' marriage. Yeah, yes, your parents are pastors, but you have trust issues because maybe their marriage has not been something to, yeah, you've seen maybe hypocrisy. He said he's a man, his wife cheated and got pregnant. Okay. You can scroll up for messages. Oh, thank you. Sorry. I didn't know I could, someone just told me I could scroll up to see past messages that were missed. Thank you. All right, good. Thank you. Sorry, the messages are coming so fast. Thank you. So where were we? Get help no matter what, because you need to be healed. I mean, there's so much injustice when you're cheated on, when your spouse cheats on you. I know now a lot of women are the ones commenting. I haven't seen the men commenting much about being cheated on, but for now it's the women. It's a painful thing because a woman feels less. It affects her self-esteem directly, number one. And I believe same for the men as well. A woman begins to think, am I not enough? What did he see in this other woman? I have boobs, she has boobs. I mean, I wear, wig. She wears wig. We all wear fake hair. I'm pretty. All those things begin to question yourself. And sometimes it's not about you. It's about that person. Of course, it's always good to check yourself first. Did I push him out in any way unconsciously? Am I so harsh at home? Is the environment? I mean, that's really not an excuse though. But you look at yourself first and say, hey, have I been denying him sex? Have I been denying him a listening ear? Have I been not even encouraging his dreams but being a discourager? You look at yourself, but when you have assessed and you feel that you have really done your best and there was really no reason for him to do that, then you can first of all say, okay, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I'm not the cause of it. And even because you are not perfect, okay, yeah, the times you've had arguments, it's not an excuse for a man to go cheat on his wife. So I'm validating you that it's not okay at all. And for men to have had their wives cheat on them, it is not okay at all. Men feel very, very poorly when that happens. In fact, many of them cannot even handle it at all. They can't even stand it. But I want to establish that it is not okay for men to cheat. It is not okay for women to cheat either, no matter what the society says, because we are equal in the eyes of God. Men and women, we are created equal in the eyes of God. Why do men and women cheat? Depression. Men are looking for happiness, to find themselves in the hands of another. Programming, we've talked about that. Many think that it's okay. It's only thank you for that contribution. It's only the Holy Spirit that can heal you completely. It's only the Holy Spirit. When you go see therapist, when we're talking like this, when you see a coach or you see your pastor, it's an opportunity to talk. It's an opportunity to be asked questions. Sometimes coaches, therapists will give you a form to fill out, to find out your temperament, to find out, to help you discover you, to help you to be a different person, so that doesn't happen again. Because there has to be some assessment, especially just to try and see if there's something attracting that. Sometimes it might be something in your background, a spirit of rejection. A spirit of rejection in your background, because some ladies will say, I was raped, then I was raped again, then I was raped. Of course, people begin to say, hey, how are you carrying yourself that you're the only one that is being raped over and over again? They tend to want to put the blame on you, but sometimes it could be what is attracting this, what is coming from you. I would like to quickly establish, especially for women, that, and men too, build yourself up. Invest in yourself. I'm not saying that you didn't invest in yourself. That's why your husband cheated on you. But you know what? Invest in yourself. Spirit, soul, and body. Invest in yourself. Okay? Invest in yourself. So that, you look like and you are the person he wants to always be. I am not blaming you. I am not saying, okay, it's because you don't dress well. That's why the man had to go cheat on you. But I'm just saying, do your part. For you, especially for you, and be an asset. Because if you are, then it's to his loss that he would be looking for a Volkswagen and there's a Cadillac parked in his house. The Bible says, he that finds a good thing, he that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. So if he wants to go out and find this favor, you are a favorable person. And of course, same for the men as well. If your wife cheats on you, find out why that happened. Most likely, maybe it's about revenge. Maybe you're too harsh. Maybe you've really, really hurt her spirit, even though that's not an excuse. So the person that has trust issues, pastor's child, please get over your trust issues. Not everybody is like that. Oh, Sister Tokwe Alabi. I call you Pastor Tokwe Alabi. Queen of gospel music. Bless you, ma. Thank you for joining us. I know you have a beautiful marriage. Thank you for joining us. So contributions are welcome. So got pregnant for another man. My spouse cheated on me and got pregnant for another man. Okay, now I see you. You are a man. This is a man. I'm scrolling back to that question. Olu Ogil, something. Now, this is a guy now saying, my spouse cheated on me and got pregnant for another man, moved into his home and had the baby. I am so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. This is devastating on anyone. And for a man, this has hurt your ego. This has totally, I know, deflated you. Please keep your head high up. Don't get into depression. Seek help. Let the Holy Spirit hold you, comfort you, and keep you strong. Don't revenge, but let him lead you on what next to do. Let him lead you, because obviously she's left you. She's moved into this man's home and has had the baby, and you're alone. You need help. If you haven't got personal help yet, whether a trusted pastor, counselor, like I said, not all pastors are open to counseling of this sort, but some are. So you have to ask your pastor, would you be able to counsel me on this, or would you recommend someone who would counsel me, who is good in this area? Otherwise, get a coach or a psychotherapist, someone who's devoted to doing stuff, counseling people one-on-one, so that you can get over the heartbreak and let go. Because you must let go. You must forgive. Yes, it's hard. And move on with your life. And I pray God's healing upon you, upon that man and people, other men who are in such situations, and women as well. Okay. Men. Some say, well, men don't sometimes necessarily cheat because their wives don't satisfy them sexually. But sometimes it's because their wives are not submitted to them, hard disobedience, how do I put it, anger in the home, not being an encourager for other reasons. These reasons, not getting along with his wife, affects his sex drive. And for us as women too, it affects our sex drives when we're not happy, when he's done all kinds of things, when we're angry. We don't feel motivated, to have sex. Now it says the man is the one complaining about his wife. His wife cheated on him and got pregnant and left for the other man. Left him. The man is the one complaining about his wife. His wife cheated on him, got pregnant and left him for the other man. Yes. Okay, thank you. Yes, we've addressed it now. Thank you. We've addressed it. You were trying to help me out on that. If she got pregnant for another man, then that is not your wife. Okay, that's someone's contribution. Well, that means that's not your wife, or that's not your wife anymore. Mommy says, great job, Ma. Thank you. Thanks for your support. You're all helping me here. I just think we could discuss. I think we could discuss with us and give us time to ask questions. Good. Kemi Udutayo, thank you. I see you. Me for communication. Please, is it healthy for a man to secure a job for his wife in another state far from where he's residing? Is it secure for a man? Another state where he's residing? It depends on them. They've got to agree on that. I mean, if they really, really need the finances and she's not been able to get a job, and they both agree on it for a season, then he can get a job for her. If she likes the job, then she goes. There must be an agreement on how he will shuttle back and forth, and how he also might eventually fully join her there, because it shouldn't be something too prolonged. But rather than go and beg or steal or whatever, they may have to do it for the sake of the economy. And what if he doesn't even have a job and she got a job in another state? So let's take questions. I need you to help me. Is it okay for partners to pick or check on each other's phone? Is it okay for partners to pick or check on each other's phones? Let me be honest with you. I used to do it before, some years ago. But you know what? After a while, I didn't even have time. I didn't even have time because I said, hey, I'm busy with my own life too. I don't have time to be checking on someone's phone. But what drives that? What is motivating? Is it a once in a while thing? You check on his phone and you say, okay, he's all clean, we're good to go. And then you don't check in 6 months, or you don't check in 1 year. That's fine. But if every day You feel you have to check his phone. You have to check his phone because he trusts you enough not to password it. And if he didn't password his phone, I hope you also didn't password your phone. So it has to be, there's an agreement. What is driving it? It could be that he's cheated on you before, or near cheating, because when we're saying cheating, is it outright sex? Is it like kiss someone? Is it that in times past you've seen emotional text messages and then he says, say nothing physical has happened and you were able to intervene and you guys were able to move on, forgive him and forgive each other and move on? Someone will say that's still a form of cheating, and it is, because emotional cheating is cheating, because you can't give what belongs to someone, the time and the space someone is supposed to take up in your mind. You're giving it to someone else. I'm not talking about when a man or a woman has to think about their job, their employer or their employees and their team members, about their work, but the emotional part of their heart or brain, they're using it for someone else. I think that's robbery. Checking phones, yes. So someone will say it's outrightly wrong. It's his personal thing, but some feel for accountability they need to do that because they already know that their spouse has a weakness and they need to be caught. They need to be, how do I put, almost caught. They need to say, hey, what's this? And then he says, it's just, and then he says, you're getting too close. This is getting too close. And then he says, okay, yeah, I agree. I just didn't know how to cut off. So some need that kind of help. Some need that kind of support. You know, but it's not a blanket answer. It's going to depend on the two of you, what you agree on. And if a man doesn't password it, it means that you're open, there's nothing there. And same thing with it. I just think there has to be honesty and there has to be accountability and trust. But no, not everyone arrives at that trust at the same time. Sometimes you just have to grow into it. You know, like I said, if there's been infidelity before, you have cause to probably check the phone once or twice because you want to make sure that he's clean and he's accountable to you. And the same thing, your phone is, you know, also available for him to look at. Now, someone said, my parents' marriage is top notch. They are loving birds, but I'm still having insecurity issue. I cannot learn to trust. And your parents' marriage is also. You have to look for where is this insecurity coming from? Go for counseling. Go see a coach. Go see a psychologist, psychotherapist. Just go. You see, going to see a psychologist or a coach or trained counselor, it may not necessarily be your pastor. Some people have studied counseling. Some people have studied this area. And their metrics and there are certain questions they will ask and be able to trace it for you. Your parents' marriage may be fantastic, but you may have been raped when you were young. God forbid. It may have happened to you and you never told them or told anyone. You may have had a near close shave like that. So now it has nothing to do with your parents. Your parents' examples are models, but there may be something making you insecure and you've never been able to talk about it. You may not even know what psychologists or coaches will do for you. Sometimes is that they might ask you about something. What happened to you when you were 6 years old? Tell me about your life in school between ages 6 and 8. And you say, oh, it was fun loving. We played. And then you're like, wait a minute. And then you remember something. Maybe you were bullied, but you didn't think it has any relationship with insecurity. And that may be where it started from. They help you to trace it. You get healing because you're able to deal with it. What happened to that girl, you know, then, who is now grown but is insecure. And people keep looking at you and wondering, you have no reason to be insecure. Your parents are fantastic. You know, you're comfortable. You have good education. But still, it's there. It must be tracked. And when it's tracked while you're single before you get married, then you'll be able to have a healthy home because your spouse will not be wondering, what did I do? Why are you acting this way, you know, towards me? So there's so much in the area of behavioral, you know, matters. He says, please give a response to Oluoge's question about his wife who left him for another man. Okay, someone is saying that I have given answer. I've said that he should. Okay, what I said was that he should go for counseling. He needs one-on-one counseling. He would need to talk with her and they will need to bring closure to that marriage. Because I don't know whether he cheated on her, she now revenged and got pregnant for a man and moved, into the man's home. Why she cheated on him, he will need to know. Did he cheat on her first? Now, if it's that he didn't do anything, he's always been a good husband, and she decided to do that, he will still have to let go and probably start a new life. That's why I'm saying he has to go for counseling. She probably also has to. He needs to go for counseling first. If the counselor says, okay, now bring her also, she'll have to agree to the counseling so that there can be closure. There can be closure, because if she's moved in with another man and the other man's baby, it's over. That's the truth. It's over. So what next? A divorce? I mean, a divorce basically is the papers. Many times people are divorced before the divorce. So people, we don't want to hear the almighty word divorce because the Bible is against divorce, and all of that. But the divorce is oftentimes the documents that a couple are given after the government, the courts have said, okay, we agree that this can't be worked on. Now we give you the document, because we also give you the document when you got married and went to the registry. Because when you get married traditionally or in church, if you don't have the government papers, the government will not recognize your marriage. It doesn't mean you are not married. So they need to now unrecognize it. That's what divorce simply is. It's just a deregistration of your marriage with the government, because you registered it with the government. And of course, because when it gets to that point, then people feel, oh, that means that's totally the end. That's why we make noise about divorce, because it looks like a dead end. So whether you have to now get to that point is what you will need to do. Can that marriage be salvaged? I mean, right now, it looks impossible, but who knows? But get help, so Olu, so that you can move on. It's really, really very painful, but we need more details, into why that happened. Maybe you can send me a DM and I can give you some referrals and see if I can, take it on one-on-one with you. My husband doesn't like us to discuss serious and future issues. He gets angry when I bring up such issues. How do I make him see reason? He doesn't like to discuss the future. He doesn't like to discuss serious issues. Oh my God. That's just his personality. He feels that's too much stress. He feels, you see, people have different temperaments. He might be phlegmatic. It's too stressful for him now to think about the future, or maybe you bring it up at the wrong time, which is wrong timing for him. But I don't see why it's healthy for a couple to discuss their future. You can't just be discussing the now and the now. You must discuss a year's time, 5 years' time. You must discuss the schools. But if he feels, hey, when we wake up, whatever the day presents, then you write your own goals and continue to work on it, and encourage him to invest in himself. Encourage him to invest in himself. Get him to attend some Instagram live, which are always free. Some coaching courses of someone that is a man like him, but will be able to help him. So this time it's not coming from you, and most likely it will be in there, or he will have opportunity to ask questions and say, look, my wife is always saying, let's discuss the future, and I don't want to. And he probably will be told that she's actually right. So I'm sure help will come for him. You be patient. The spouse also filed for divorce and they have a 10-year-old child. Let me see. Momi, M-O, yeah, because I know you. You said the spouse also filed for a divorce and they have a 10-year-old child. Sorry, I didn't read what you said before that, Momi. In respect to what? Okay, Olu again is saying, Olu Ogie, dealing with the depression about it, still finding hard to move on and to really trust women. Sorry. Yeah. If you're, dealing with this depression again, I'm really sorry about that. Get more help. I hope you have a therapist. I hope you have an accountability partner, people who, I mean, I really even appreciate you coming on this platform to even open up. That's a big step. I mean, as we're speaking today, Anthony Bourdain, many of us know him, the guy who travels and eats for a living. He's a chef of many years, you know, worked his way up in the US and in partnership with CNN. I mean, they take him all around the world. The guy seemed to have a happy life, tasting food. I knew there was a time he was in Lagos. I think I saw him with Banky Wellington and some other people in the corners of Lagos. They took him to Buka joint. You know, you just watching him sometimes on TV, on CNN, he takes into Asia, he takes into, and I'm like, this guy eats anything. I mean, they're frying food in the open, and I just heard this morning, you know, online, you know, on the internet, that he committed suicide in his Paris hotel a few hours ago, maybe overnight or something. And people are like, what? Kate Spade was just about 3 days ago, and people are like, Anthony Bourdain had a happy life. 61-year-old, this man seems happy. You travel for a living, you taste food and wine. But again, we don't know what people are dealing with, and it doesn't look so on the outside. So always check on people who look strong. Hello? Check on me too. I'm just saying, yes, I check on people a lot, but sometimes people don't check on me because after all, she's Pastor Nikki. I mean, she's always throwing out powerful words for us. We need to check on people, especially those who are strong and those who look very strong. Yeah. So Olu, yeah, private contact so you can get more help. That's important. But please manage your depression, please. Okay, don't get to that point where, you know, you lose it totally, you lose your mind, you lose your life. That will not be your portion in Jesus' name. Okay, hang in there. I know it's difficult to trust women, especially if you did nothing to warrant that, to get that kind of thing from your wife. Difficult to trust women. I know it'll be difficult for you to get married again and start all over again, but you know, just heal. Do the things you love to do, you know. Read your Bible if you're a person of faith. Okay, get around positive people, get around friends, what, you know, make you happy. Do constructive things with your time, with your weekend. Love your job, and add value to other people, you know. And I believe you'll be fine. But then, like I said, one-on-one, yes. Someone said, accept your spouse. Don't compare your spouse. That way, they feel comfortable around you. Yes. Those are this person made his contribution. If you accept your spouse and they feel comfortable about you, then they're less likely to be tempted to cheat on you or to want to be in the arms of somebody else, because they realize that they have a good deal already. So any more questions? Sometimes communication breakdown, inability for men or women to communicate their fantasies or their weaknesses to their spouse lead men especially to, you know, cheat because they want to explore with yourselves. We're talking about a marital situation now. Explore with yourselves. You know, marriage is given for that, for pleasure one another. Don't think what you find it in another person, find it in your spouse. How can you help your partner stop watching pornography? Your partner will need help. Your partner will need help to stop watching pornography. He will need help, because this might have been a habit that he developed even from childhood. Habit, I think we can collate and type out the questions. Yes, please do that. Help me do that. Mommy, you're there. OJ, Olajumoke, you're there. I was going to tell you that before we started this meeting, to help type out the questions so we can use it even at a later time. Thank you so much. So, I mean, it's so important to be able to talk freely, you know, to express your desires towards your spouse. Now, the person who said, how can I help this person with pornography? So most times it starts from a young age. Teenagers get into it and sometimes don't get out of it. Some outgrow it, you know, some outgrow it when they get help or they realize, hey, I'm going to stop being childish and all of that. But some, it goes into their adulthood and they get married and they continue with it. And they themselves are surprised because they feel, now that I'm married and I can have sex, then I'll do away with pornography. But then they find out that they can't stop because it's an addiction. So they might need to see personal coaches, someone like Peaceful, where I know you do a good job with someone addicted to pornography. It's just to be able to walk them through to get unaddicted. Whatever you're addicted to, you can get unaddicted to it. It can be reversed, you know. And of course, I believe also with the help of the Holy Spirit, and just tracking where it started from, when do you have the urge, when are you most tempted, and all that. It needs your husband being one-on-one with someone that can help him. So get help. It's not you that will help him. You can't say, okay, maybe I'll sleep with him 3 times a day so that he will not. I mean, can you even do that? It's not about that. It's about he's already addicted to it. So the help you can do is to help him get help. I've heard so many people get hurt and disappointed because they confided in a counselor. Talking about going for counseling, in a counselor, their pastor or spiritual leader. That's why I said it doesn't have to even be your pastor. Not all pastors are trained counselors. All pastors can counsel, they can talk, listen to you, pray. Some will say, okay, it's deliverance you need. I'll pray for you. Cast that demon out. Some will actually walk you through. Some don't have the time to walk you through step by step. Some don't. You know, some don't. Some don't. And they won't tell you. It's okay. And they won't tell you that they don't have the time. Some are busy. They're more of preachers than someone that will sit in the office and see people one-on-one. Some pastors were at that stage much earlier in ministry. They would have appointments, see people, maybe 3 people in the day, maybe 5. But some from the beginning declared, I do not counsel because I have itinerant ministry, you know, and stuff of that. So don't just go to any pastor. Don't just go to your pastor because he preaches powerfully. He even preached on pornography, how it's so bad for marriages, and then you assume that he can counsel you on that one-on-one. You'll be shocked because he may say, hey, I'm good at the mass thing, but I don't have the time. And so if you're a trained counselor, if a pastor is a trained counselor, or anyone is a trained counselor for that moment, I tell you, they will keep your information secret because it's one of the ethics of the training. It is one of the ethics. You do not share people's information. So get one-on-one help, but choose who to go to. Let people give you recommendations. So if you're particular about, yes, it must be Christian because you're a Christian, but the person doesn't have to be a pastor. I think pastors are overloaded already. Pastors are overburdened already by their church members. So they see you. Sometimes they're like, okay, we finished. Okay, I'll follow up. I'll pray and I'll follow you up. Sometimes they hand you over to another pastor. You don't like it because they've handed you over to somebody else to help follow up the matter, but they can't say, because I can't help you, I'm too busy, because you might go back and say, you know what, I tried to see my pastor, it's like I have to wait forever to see him. Is he God? So there are people who now have taken on counseling, coaching, psychotherapy as their job. It's just that you might have to pay. You might have to pay. And I think it's worth it because with your pastor, it's maybe free. Because like, hey, but that's when you finally get to see him. But you might have to pay. And you must be willing to pay, because if you can pay to go study a course, to go, so that you should be able to pay for your own health as well. And I like to say, let's not always wait till we've been cheated on, raped, or have some serious issues, depression or something, before we book an appointment with a counselor, with a coach. It's just healthy just to have a health check in your emotional area in case there's anything. You want to be better. You want to be secure. You want to be top with your emotions. Check in with a coach. Check in with a counselor, you know, and say maybe once a year I'm going to see a counselor. I'm going to have 1 hour or 2 hours. I'm going to book. How much is it? I will book it. It's going to be part of my personal investment. And I tell you, it will be worth it. But many times, you know, pastors is free. So we all want to see the pastor. People now are specializing in doing this thing because WHO said by 2025, 2030, and I heard this statistics, heard this about a few years ago, depression will be the #1 killer disease. And you see, it looks like we are going slowly towards that now. So some of us have had to go and do courses in NLP, coaching, just to be able to help people in very, very specific ways. And if you value your life, you say, hey, I'm willing to pay to get such help. Aside church counseling, someone says seeking professional help is quite expensive. Many couples continue to live in denial because they can't afford the fees. You see, they shouldn't live in denial if they can't afford the fees. Okay, They go to someone, they say, this is my fees, but we hear you're really, really good. You can ask that person, you say, you know what, we can't afford you, but can you recommend someone? As I was talking now, have I not mentioned Praiseful Way? I am a coach myself, yep, but let's leave that for now because you don't know whether I'm talking as a pastor, I'm talking as a coach. Yes, I've gone into coaching. I've gone into coaching, yes, as also a means of earning an income. Yes, I'm a pastor. I don't earn money from the church. I recently also had to find other ways of earning money, so there's nothing wrong in that. But my clients may not be our church members. You get, as you know, I'm half the time in the US, half the time in Lagos, because that's just the way God has positioned me, nothing wrong. So if you cannot afford a particular coach or counselor that is trained, that you know this is what they do for a living, don't just say, look at how much they are charging me. They're greedy. This is what they do for a living as well. They could be selling cement, but they chose to focus on people's mental health, people's psychology. So don't be angry at their fees. You to tell yourself, whatever it is you're doing, whether it's cake making, and you say, my fees are this today. Okay, I'll be like this person one day where I will just charge, you know. So what you can say to that person is, can you recommend someone? Most coaches and trained counselors have networks. They have networks. We have networks. We refer. I can't handle this case. I know this person to be more. Or I can't, you can't afford my fees. I'm not saying me, but I'm just saying the person that said most coaches or counselors are very expensive, professional ones. They would ask them for a referral because the counselor or coach would then say, okay, what can you afford? And you say that, and the person may say, okay, pro bono, bring what you have. I'll take it on because I really am interested in your case. And so you can negotiate, but if this is my flat rate, then you say, okay, tell me who. That person will recommend a younger person, a newer person, or someone who is in his network or her network, but that hasn't started charging big yet. But yet the person is as good. That the person is very expensive doesn't mean that there aren't people who are very good but charge less. They're very good people who charge less because maybe they've just come into the field, but they have all the training. Go for those ones because 2 years' time, they also may be charging big. Why people charge big in coaching and professional counseling is because they need the money to also feed their families. They've left some other things behind and say, look, this is what I'm going to face as my life income, for my life income. But some of them get so busy, get so many clients that they have to jack up their price to be able to still see people. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It is that price that they will use to weed out because they can't see 10 people in one day. Maybe they can see 4. So they jack up the price so some will fall out from their bracket. But I tell you, there are other people that will do just as good a job. So it must always be maybe part of the budget of any family to say, look, we will get help, especially when you know